see. So there's a part of me, like from a competitor standpoint, where I liked the fact that that Houston won. But from another standpoint, and by the way, we are just now getting on Facebook Live. Sorry, Facebook Livers. Sorry, I know it took a little bit of time. We're going to get Dustin in the shot, too. Looks like the camera was changed a little bit last night, which that's just what happens, show to show. But I didn't realize it till, we were already full into this mix. So we will get that adjusted, too. You can see just a little bit of his head, and maybe he'll wave for the crowd.
Over here?
Yeah, somewhere like that, I think.
Oh, I'm probably just delayed.
Yeah, probably. Now it's going to be like, man... Okay, Dustin. Yeah, we see you.
I was like, where is my hand? That's awesome.
This is good stuff. Anyways, no, but I just think that the Dodgers are going to finish pulling this deal out. I just, I think they still have so much momentum. Although that Game 2 loss was more than just a loss, in my opinion. There was so much emotion, so much momentum that switched in that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was a momentum switcher, for sure.
I mean, it did help Houston that they did get another run in the 11th and didn't just get completely shut out in that last inning, and they almost came back again. But it just, man, it's just not even it's still a hard loss.
Yeah.
What did you think of some of the skippers' decisions for the Dodgers club? Jeremy and I were talking about this last night as well. There's been a lot of criticism of the manager of the Dodgers saying that he pulled his guy too early, and then he spent all his arms, and then he didn't have anything left in the last innings. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I did think he pulled him a little too early. And we saw kind of the Dodgers start to hit when they pulled him. And so with that, yeah, I think there is a little bit of criticism to be had, but that's kind of what happens. That's a part of the game in baseball. You have to manage your arms, and so with that, yeah, I think there's some fair criticism to be had, but that's why they play the 7-game series, is because they have to get all of their arms in there. They have to manage the pitching staff well, and so with that, yeah, that is a part of who's going to win this game, is how they manage their pitching staff, and so. I think it's fair to have some criticism, yeah, because it really seemed to give Houston the momentum whenever they pulled them.
Yeah, I guess. I'm not 100% sure. We were talking about it last night, and I just feel like the guy knows. He knows his pitcher. He knows Hill. He knows how many pitches he's thrown. He knows how the guy reacts. He knows, everything about that. He has a good grasp on what's going on with his guys. So I kind of feel like there we go. I just kind of feel like, man, that was kind of psychedelic if you're watching on Facebook Live, by the way. It went from like super zoom in, cut over to now like I don't know, it's just kind of weird. Oh, I know what it is. Never mind. I know exactly what happened. So Facebook Livers, sorry for that random switch in the video, but you know what? You're getting multiple camera angles.
Oh,
because that's what we do here.
We need to have it just.
We're
switch
big time.
One.
Oh, that's what we should do. Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. Well, whenever I'm talking, it goes to the zoom in on me, and yeah, no, that would be absolutely awesome. But yeah, no, I feel like he knows his guy. So if he knows his guy, give him a break. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
he knows what he's doing. So I really hope that a lot of people just kind of back off. They won over 100 games in the season, so he knows what he's doing. I don't know how to say it any better than that.
Yeah, he obviously has the best knowledge compared to how many innings he can throw, but it did just seem like with that. Sometimes you just have to ride the hot hand in baseball.
That's true.
That's how it is, and you hear that phrase all the time in any sport. And I feel like if there's a time to do that, it probably is in the World Series. So, but as far as number of throws go, and then when they can pitch again, that's all things that's a little over my head. So as far as management goes, usually have to give them the benefit of the doubt. But I think in that scenario, I think he did have a little bit more left in his arm, and I think that it was a big momentum shift in the game, and so
yeah.
as far as fair criticism, it's not something to say, oh, he should get fired. I think it is just like that was a poor decision. Obviously, it probably cost you the game. So
yeah, no, I mean that's fair. That's fair enough. Let's do this, man. We just got started. We'll hold off on the break. We'll go a little bit extra on this first segment. So as far as some of the other things that happened this week, dare we even talk about either the NCAA or the NFL football game that happened last night?
2 bad games.
Yeah.
2 bad games. Yeah.
Stanford, Oregon State, boring, 15-14. Okay.
Yeah, do we think that you think that's going to have any impact on like Bryce Love's Heisman candidacy, or
what were his numbers in that?
I don't know. Let's check him out. I didn't watch.
Pull up his numbers because I'm interested in that. I know that the numbers from the NFL game were really bad, but let's stick to the college one first. Stanford versus Oregon State. Stanford was 5-2. Oregon State was 1-6 at the time. It should have been a runaway. I don't care that they were at Oregon State. Oregon State is bad. It should have been a runaway. But no, it wasn't a runaway. Do you know why it was a runaway? Because Stanford stunk it up. But that's just kind of, I don't know. I just don't feel like, as bad as sometimes the Big 12 is, I think that the Big 12 still way outshines the Pac-12.
Bryce Love didn't even lead Stanford in rushing yards. I wonder if he got hurt.
Yikes. Hey, yeah, scroll down, because I bet you it'll. Oh, you're going to the stats. Never mind.
Cameron Scarlett did.
Huh. That is
so
incredible.
that may be hurtful to Bryce Love's Heisman campaign.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That I just sometimes don't know what to think about them. Stanford. At times they show that they should possibly win the Pac-12. At times they show that they should just be a middle-of-the-road team.
Okay. Here we go here. Stanford running back Bryce Love out with ankle injury.
Yikes.
Versus Oregon State.
Well, bye-bye Heisman. You were still hanging on by a thread at times just from the perception. Not that it's necessarily right, but by the perception you were hanging on by a thread. I don't know if you're going to wind up recovering from that. Just my personal opinion. Don't hate me if you don't agree. I just personally think that he may not wind up doing well.
Yeah, that's definitely bad for the Heisman campaign.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with the 2 at the top that you're fighting against in Baker Mayfield and Saquon Barkley. Those 2 are bringing it every single week.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, really, it's kind of this fun competition that you're having between the 2. And even Bryce Love was averaging 10 yards to carry. Like, he was rightfully up in the top 3. But because of that, because the competition is so packed between the 3 of them up until the point. But now with Bryce getting injured, you're seeing this. You have to show up every single week if you're Baker Mayfield or Saquon Barkley. You have to, or else you are going to not necessarily fall out of the top 4 out of the finalists, but as far as the competition between winning the Heisman and getting in second place, you're going to take a major step back. So those 2 are just vying in position to continue to compete for that. Saquon, I think, is rightfully in the number 1 spot. His numbers are ridiculous. Penn State's only lost 1 game, but we'll see this week. There's a big matchup brewing with Penn State and Ohio State. So
yeah, no, there is. So we'll see what happens on that deal. Excuse me. I think this is going to be an interesting weekend for OU, for OSU. We got some other good games that we're going to get into here in just a little bit on this show. And, man, you know what we got to do? And I don't think we did it last week, but last week was so packed with Thunder Talk and everything. But this week we've got to do our who's going to get that yard.
Oh, yeah.
And we've got to do our fantasy predictions too. Because if there is any week where someone needs fantasy advice, it's this one. Myself included, because 6 teams are on bye this week.
Yes, this is a tough week for sure. This is where everyone's scrambling. And there's like some weird things going on in my fantasy team where I'm having like kickers injured Like Dan Bailey is injured in a couple of my leagues, and even the guy, is it Matt Prater from the Falcons? He did terrible last week. He's kind of battling an injury, and it's just like, what is going on when the kickers are battling an injury? That's when you know.
That's bad. That's bad,
so,
man. You need to get yourself a kicker.
I mean, you literally can just drop him and pick it. So that's what I did, but it's like that's a waiver move, you know?
I'd trade you one.
Oh, you got 2 kickers? No, I'm kidding.
Because I'm a good friend. I'd trade you one.
Oh, you
just
sweet.
give me like Doug Martin, and I'll trade you a kicker straight up.
Oh, that is some good value right there. Good value trade.
In fact, so I don't know if you saw, but the trade that Coleman and myself had going on completed this week. Did you see that trade?
I did. That was a big one. It was a blockbuster trade.
It was huge. I gave up a potential quarterback who could wind up being one of the best quarterbacks for a few years at least here in the next I project in the next 3 or 4 years we'll be talking about Carson Wentz being one of the top 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah,
in the NFL.
He reminds me a lot of like when Matt Ryan and Joe Flacco
that makes sense.
Came out. Like they're doing really well. I feel like he makes a
Matt Ryan, Joe Flacco.
Yeah. But you remember that rookie year, everyone was like,
no,
dang, these 2 quarterbacks are going to be really good. And so, I mean, thinking of that, that's like I feel like that's the trajectory he can take. He's either going to be the Matt Ryan or Joe Flacco because he does kind of have some dangerous throws, but man, he's looking really, really good up to this point.
Man, he's sharp. He is doing well. There's no doubt about that. And I personally think, he'll be good. But anyways, I gave up him because I have Deshaun Watson. And I figure, for fantasy perspective, Deshaun Watson's showing really well. He has a lot more running ability, which you get more points for that anyways. And with that head coach right now, which head coach may change in a couple of years or so, but the head coach right now loves to run the football. But Deshaun Watson has shown that he can throw it. And he can throw it pretty well. And he's a pretty good clutch time quarterback too. I mean, for being a rookie, dude can really play in the clutch time. I mean, he's a clutch player. That's what he is. And he showed that. He showed that in college. He has shown that now here in the NFL. It is just a really, really interesting thing to watch his progression even in his rookie year. So I thought, hey, give up Wentz, get McCaffrey. I also got Wendell Smallwood, who's another young running back, but he's more of a scat back for Philadelphia. I say scat back. He does do primary running responsibilities, but in the first and second down.
Yeah, definitely the value is in PPR leagues for sure for Wendell Smallwood.
Yeah, because he catches it well, and he's really fast, he's shifty, and again, he gets the first and second downs a lot of times. He gets the opportunity to run the football. So, I mean, you're talking about a guy who's going to get 60 to 70% of the snaps, and he's just a really solid running back. He's fast, he's small, and those guys tend to fare well in the league that we see today.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is the week for fantasy advice, so we're probably going to talk it a little more than we normally do, and that's okay.
But that'll come a little bit later. So if you want some advice in how to set your lineup, don't you worry. We will bring you some advice. You may not want to take it, but we'll definitely bring you some advice, and we'll see. You have to just wait and see what our thoughts are on all of that. All right, let's do this. Let's roll to a break. We are at 7:30 right now. It is a beautiful Friday morning, October 27th, 2017. Traffic, if you want a traffic report, traffic was not the best this morning. It took a while to weed through the traffic on top of me being, running a little bit late, quite a bit late. And then the traffic just, made it even more difficult this morning. But that's okay. Sometimes that's how your morning goes, and you just deal with it. But I'm just letting you know, traffic out there is a little busy. Yesterday was nuts on I-35. And so if you want to hear a little bit about what happened there, you've got to catch that right after these short messages from our sponsors.
City Life Community Church is the proud home of Crossover Radio. We are located at 6634 Northwest 36th Street, right here in the heart of Bethany. You can join us for worship at 11 a.m. each Sunday, and if you can't make it, you can hear us right here on Crossover Radio. You can also join us for worship and prayer each Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. City Life exists to glorify God by making disciples and doing good in Jesus' name. We are here for Bethany and for the Northwest Oklahoma City communities. We're excited about the opportunity to serve you and your family.
Would your business, organization, or ministry like to connect with our listeners? Crossover Radio is seeking amazing like-minded partnerships to impact our community. Crossover Radio has cheap and affordable sponsorship packages available now. Call us at 405-494-0234 so we can help connect you with thousands of listeners every week right here on Crossover Radio. Again, that number is 405-494-0234. Call us today.
Tired of taking up a seat in church or just watching a production? Join us Sunday at West Metro Community Church in Yukon, a place where your life matters and you are more than a number.
We are located at 601 West Main Street in Yukon, and our worship service is at 10:45 on Sunday. For additional information on our student ministry, men's, women's, and mixed small group Bible studies throughout the week, find our information at www.westmetro.org.
Come be a part of a church where all are welcome.
Crossover Radio. Radio with a purpose.
All right, we're back. 3rd and 1 live for your Friday morning drive. Hope you guys are having a fantastic start to your day out there. And hey, if you guys are listening in on Facebook, feel free to comment, feel free to like, give us a share. Join in on the conversation. We love to hear from you guys. We're about to talk some NCAA football coming up. Tell us about the matchups you're excited for. Tell us what you think of what some of our analysis are. But man, it's a good start to the day. We're about to get some coffee going up in here, so we're pumped for that.
It's gonna be smelling good up in this place. I love the smell of coffee.
Oh, that is one of the best smells in the morning.
Oh, it's incredible.
So Evan and I are both big coffee guys. So
just a little bit.
So if you guys are coffee people out there, let us know. Let us know.
And if you have, let me throw this out. If we got some people listening, they're like, hey, we actually do coffee. We're a coffee shop. We'd love to have you guys at our place. Let us know. We'd love to come broadcast live.
We come do
right
remote
from your coffee shop. We got absolutely no problem with that. And we're always up. Always up. That's right, just like this music. We are always up for doing a remote at your coffee shop or a restaurant or business, wherever you want us to be. We can definitely be there. We'd love to broadcast live. It's fun just getting out with the people. Unfortunately for us, at our time slot, not a lot of people are even up at this time, and they will even catch the show later. So that's just kind of the nature of the business, but that's all right. But if there is somewhere that you're like, hey, we want you guys to come to your show from our place, give us a contact. We'd love to definitely hear from you. Debbie chimes in this morning. She says, hello, Evan and Dustin. Have an awesome day. Seeing God in all things and situations. May God bless you always. And then got another another Facebook post just now from David. David says, "Whoop, coffee." That's right.
Oh yes, I like that. That's the energy you need when you have coffee right there.
That's
so,
right.
Whoop, going on. That's like the Chris Berman thing, like the whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah. Oh man. There are times that I just couldn't stand Chris Berman, but I will say, I have to admit, the other day, I was just thinking about it, and I thought, I miss watching SportsCenter and hearing him go, whoop!
Oh, it's
whenever, like, something would happen in football most of the time, and you go, whoop!
It's like revolutionary for like sports broadcasting. So
It was good. David says, morning coffee, and he put MOURNING. That is great stuff. I really mean that, David. That is really great stuff. That's awesome. All right, so this morning we're also going to be talking some NCAA, and I think that's what we're actually going to get into in our segment right now. So if you're interested in some of the NCAA goings-ons this weekend, you'll definitely want to chime in. We are going to be talking that and so much more. We're going to be talking some more NFL, talking some fantasy picks like we were referencing earlier this morning. And we are going to talk some Thunder because the Thunder are playing the Wolves.
Talking Thunder.
Rematch Rematch Central. It's going to be really fun. So definitely stay tuned for all of that. All right, NCAA football.
Let's dive in.
What are the games that interest you most?
Honestly, a lot of the Big 12 really interests me. There are a couple games. Obviously, we have where game day is. That's a big game, which is Penn State, Ohio State. Let's see, UCLA, Washington. That's interesting. I just saw
interesting.
OU just released their schedule for next year, and UCLA is one of the first games. So that'll be kind of fun to watch.
Do you think that Rosen will be there, Josh Rosen?
No, I think he's going to the league. So I think you'll see 2 new quarterbacks next year for that game.
That'll be an interesting game. Both teams won't be ranked as near as high. I think OU will be ranked. UCLA.
Yeah, I think they'll be in the top 25.
Yeah, OU will be in top 25 for sure. I don't think there's any doubt in that. But yeah, that's going to be interesting. That's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, so let's run down here. A couple games that are interesting. Penn State, Ohio State, we said that. Georgia Tech, Clemson. Georgia Tech usually plays well against those big teams. Washington State, Arizona. USC, Arizona State. We got Georgia, Florida out in the SEC. And then we got the Miami versus UNC. Then we got some Big 12 matchups going on. Oklahoma State, West Virginia. TCU, Iowa State. Oklahoma, Texas Tech. Some big games going on for sure in the Big 12. And we talked about that this is kind of this is the bulk of the season for the Big 12. We're really getting into it. Some of those top teams are starting to play each other. So yeah, if you're a Big 12 fan, now's the time to tune in. Now's the time to start watching because, man, this last half of the season is stacked for the Big 12.
Man, there are a number of good games this weekend. And I mean a number. There are at least 5 really interesting games to me. Last week was not that way.
Yeah, last week wasn't. I remember we were kind of looking for some.
Yeah, we were,
I didn't even think Northwestern Michigan State could
we
be good,
were
too.
trying hard to try to find something that was interesting. But this week we are not left with a bunch of shambles of games. We are definitely blessed this weekend with some good football. So man, let's save Penn State, Ohio State. That has playoff implications. Let's save that for the end. We'll save TCU, Iowa State for the Big 12 talk. Miami, North Carolina is only interesting just because it's North Carolina and Miami's 6-0 right now. I think Miami's going to win running away on that deal. Clemson, number 7 versus an unranked Georgia Tech, but a 4-2 Georgia Tech. What do you think about that game?
Yeah, I think this is the ultimate trap game. Yeah. Well, maybe not the ultimate. It's at Clemson.
Syracuse was.
Yeah, Syracuse was for sure. But Georgia Tech, man, I feel like Georgia Tech always pulls out like an upset win against a team, and I need to look at their schedule because I think they already did this year pull out an upset win. But I think this is definitely a trap game for Clemson because, man, it's kind of the scenario where the option has gone so far away that when teams play the option again, it almost comes out of left field for them because they're so used to the spread option or the spread offense. I'm sorry, or just the power eye offense, but the option offense. The true option offense is something that's kind of gone away in college football. And we talked about you're looking at Georgia Tech, you're looking at UCF that still runs it, and probably a few other teams. I'm not sure, maybe Army, Navy may still do it. But it's an offense that's few and far between. And so with that, man, and the fun thing is they're still defending against the same teams that everyone else is defending against. So they're still having to play the spread teams, play the power eye teams, but then they're kind of getting to throw this wrench in to some of these defensive coordinators that just haven't played, the true option in a long time. And so it's usually where they can play the tempo in a game and play good defense, and that's usually how they get some of these upset wins. Now, this game in particular, man, I want to think that Georgia Tech's going to win. But I'm definitely thinking that Clemson pulls it off. I think that since the loss to Syracuse, Clemson's going to kind of come back firing on all cylinders. But I see this game staying close for a little bit. But I think Clemson's going to pull it off and probably win eventually by at least 2 touchdowns.
Man, that it wouldn't surprise me to see that. Here are the teams that Georgia Tech has beat and lost to, okay? Very first game of the year, Tennessee, they lost 42-41. At this point, not a good loss. But then they beat Jacksonville State, snore. Pittsburgh's not very good. And North Carolina, who is terrible. They barely lost to Miami.
Oh, that's the game I was thinking
25-24, barely lost. And then you got Wake Forest. They beat 38-24. So not a terrible season. Their losses, especially their loss to Miami just recently by 1 point. That's not a bad loss. That's if you can call it a good loss. Such a weird phrase. But for Georgia Tech, I mean that's not terrible. I think that Clemson will win this one, but it is an interesting one, and it's the ABC game at night, which is another interesting thing to me as well. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this NC State Notre Dame game. NC State is 6-1 versus Notre Dame 6-1. And it's at Notre Dame. Okay. What are your thoughts on this game? This one to me is super intriguing. It's probably the second most intriguing football game to me. I don't know. The TCU Iowa State's super intriguing, but this one's like up there. It's number 2, number 3 for me.
So you're saying intriguing. I mean, I think if you're looking at this realistically, you're thinking that Notre Dame should win this handily.
Why? Why do you say that?
But I think it is an option. What is NC State ranked right now?
They're 6-1. They're number 14. They beat Pittsburgh, Louisville, Syracuse, Florida State, and then Furman and Marshall. They lost to South Carolina by a touchdown at the beginning of the year. But who has Notre Dame beat? Let's look at that. Because I'm not super high on Notre Dame, and I know they beat the team that we think everyone has overrated.
Yeah, that's true.
And we're seeing that play out more and more and more. Notre Dame has beat Temple. They lost to Georgia. Well, a lot of teams are going to lose to Georgia. They only lost by 1 point. If I'm being fair, they only lost by 1 point to Georgia. They beat Boston College, Michigan State, who's probably not going to shake out well, North Carolina, who's 1-7, and Miami of Ohio. Those are the only teams they beat.
Miami, I was like, oh, they beat Miami? I didn't know that. And then I see there in parentheses, Miami of Ohio.
Yeah.
So that makes more sense.
So they haven't really beat anyone of consequence.
Yeah, you're actually right. I honestly didn't realize that NC State was only 6-1.
I'm actually right.
Yeah, you're right.
Listen to you. Actually right. Like it's so rare.
Hey, you never know, man. But no, I'm kidding. I think that really when you're looking at this, man, NC State's kind of surprising, and I think this week you got to say go Wolfpack here because, yeah, you definitely. I think most people out there are going to find themselves rooting for NC State.
Yeah.
In this matchup, unless you're obviously a Notre Dame fan, but yeah, I'm actually pleasantly surprised with those teams that they've beat, and I think I generally just thought of NC State as probably a lesser team, but that was wrong with me, honestly. So it is an interesting matchup, and I think Notre Dame, like you said, they beat USC, which we've talked about over and over that we think USC is overrated. But I actually haven't watched too much of NC State to give like a quality pick of why I think they're going to beat Notre Dame. I do think that Notre Dame's probably a little overrated at this point. So this will definitely be one that I'm looking to see, hey, maybe this is our upset pick for the week. So who are you taking in this game?
Well, if we have to pick, for one, I get blinded because I really don't like Notre Dame.
Yeah, I think they're one of those teams that you love to hate.
Yeah, and I definitely fall into that category. I acknowledge this. I'm going to take NC State. I think there's reason to believe that they could win this. It's a little bit more difficult given the nature of playing at Notre Dame. I realize that that's just a difficult thing. But man, I'm going to go with NC State. I'm going to go with NC State. That's my pick. That's one of my upset picks for this week. NC State. I think that's going to be one of my upset picks this week. So.
Yeah, and I do think Notre Dame is overrated. I think that really looking at that, the only team that they've beat that kind of had some national significance is USC, looking at that schedule. And so with that, it's almost like anything that you can give some credit to USC, I want to take away from USC because they just had so much hype at the beginning of the year that
Yes.
I'm just over that team completely at this point.
Yeah, I hear that.
But so yeah, I'm still gonna take Notre Dame, just purely based off name at this point because I think that if Notre Dame, and they've fallen off kind of the college football map recently, but if they can't go in and beat I'm gonna say NCAA. If they can't beat the whole NCAA, if they can't beat NC State at home, then that's pretty bad for Notre Dame. So, but we talked about earlier, NC State 6-1. I know one of our listeners, Anthony Williams, goes to NC State.
Oh,
So shout out to Anthony.
Anthony?
If you comment, if you're listening. Yeah.
I don't think he's
Listen.
probably making that road trip, but if he is, that would be fascinating too. Love to have him report live.
Oh, there you go.
That would be incredible.
Yeah.
That would be incredible. All right, so you're gonna take NC State or Penn?
I'm taking Notre Dame.
All right, cool. We're gonna be on opposite sides of that one. All right, let's go ahead and do our picks. Let's roll out our picks. I got some bumper music for us rolling. I think this will be. We'll see how this goes. But as far as the scores, as far as the games, what do you think is going to happen with? Let's see here. Let's pick another one that we were talking about. Georgia at Florida. This is an intriguing game. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Georgia wins this. I think they win it handily. I think Florida
Agreed.
is they're improving throughout the year, but man, Georgia looks really good. I'm interested to see. There's kind of always those games where one of these unbeaten teams seems to have like a lackluster performance. I think you could see that this week against Florida. I think that Georgia may have a lackluster performance just because they're kind of getting used to the hype. They're starting to get into the top four of that playoff discussion. Florida has been a pretty typical quote-unquote bad team in the SEC. They don't have very good quarterback play. Their defense has been pretty decent up to this point, but I think you may just see Georgia play down to the level of competition in Florida this week. I think it's going to be closer than we would like, but I still, especially going into Florida, but I think that Georgia still pulls it off. I think that they pull away at the end, win by at least 10 points, but I think it's going to be close throughout the game.
Yeah, I can see that. I think Georgia. Man, I'm going to be on just a little bit opposite side. I'm going to say Georgia's going to win it going away. Georgia, I think, is just such a good team this year. It's incredible.
They are a very, very good football team.
How about this one? South Florida at Houston. South Florida is 7-0, number 17 in the nation.
Oh, this is
at
Charlie Strong,
Houston.
right?
Yeah, at Houston, 4-3. Sorry. Houston is at South Florida. That's my bad.
Kind of an interesting matchup here that you have going on because you have South Florida, Charlie Strong, coaching against Houston, which is where Tom Herman came from, who replaced Charlie
That is
Strong.
interesting.
So, I'm actually going to take South Florida in this.
I'm going to go South Florida.
I think that Charlie Strong is doing really well with South Florida. Houston, what's their record up to this point?
They are 4-3.
4-3. Yeah, man. I'm taking South Florida all day on this one. I think it could even be a little bit of a revenge game for Charlie Strong, just because I think there'll be some of those narratives throughout the game, and he's going to want to say, basically Texas messed up by letting me go and bringing in the coach from this team. I think Houston had 3 losses last year, right, with Tom Herman, and so. I think this is just going to be kind of Charlie Strong kind of flexing his coaching muscles.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. We'll see what happens. I think that it'll be an interesting game. I still think I'm with you on this. South Florida is going to win that one. Let's see here. Arkansas, Mississippi. It's at Mississippi. Arkansas is 2-5. Mississippi is 3-4. And for all of our listeners who are going, why are you even talking about this game? Those are loser teams. They're
They
really
are
bad.
loser teams,
They're like
yes.
terrible loser teams.
Yes,
Like,
especially who is the team that has only won 2 games? Because that team's
It's
really bad.
Arkansas. They're
Oh.
terrible. But the reason that we pick it is because our very own Jeremy Coleman is a very big fan of the Arkansas Razorbacks, and so we will definitely pick this game. Do you think that Arkansas gets their 3rd win of the season against Mississippi?
Man, I'm not ready to do it. I'm taking Mississippi over Arkansas.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. But this is going to be the week that they win. Watch. But
Yeah.
I'm with you. I just don't think that they can overcome
I've
this.
picked a couple weeks where I thought they would kind of get it together,
so
and
did
I'm not willing to do it. I think Jeremy would even, if he was talking to us right now, he'd say, "Guys, stay away from this team because they are bad." So I think he would agree on
They're a
that.
dumpster fire.
But yeah, definitely not thinking that they get that coveted third win in Week 9 of the NCAA football this week. So
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that deal. All right, let's see here. I think besides the Big 12 and some of the other games we've mentioned, those are the only other interesting ones. USC at Arizona State. I don't even want to pick this game. It's kind of a weird game for me. If you want to pick it, I'll pick it. But I don't feel great about USC, but I also don't feel wonderful about Arizona State.
yeah, this is it's at Arizona State, 9:45, which is kind of interesting for the time slot because I feel like it's playing more
super
to
late.
super late. I feel like it's playing to California.
Yeah.
But it's still late for Arizona. So what is that, like 8:45 there in Arizona?
Well, if it's 9:45, no, it'd still be 7:45.
Okay.
Or even 6:45 in Arizona.
Okay.
Because I think they're in Tempe.
Time zones are like above and beyond my head. So if anyone can comment in and tell me the difference, that would help me out.
I think that they're in Pacific time right now. Part of the state of Arizona switches time zones. They don't observe daylight savings time.
Oh.
So I say switch time zone. They actually just don't observe daylight savings time.
Speaking of daylight savings time, I'm absolutely not looking forward to it at all. Obviously, we get an hour of sleep.
Is it Sunday?
It's
or
Sunday.
Is it next Sunday?
What? I think it's Sunday.
Woo. You're not looking forward to it? How do you not look forward to getting an hour back?
I'll tell you why right here.
Okay.
Okay, so it is November 5th.
Okay.
Daylight savings time.
So
So
next week.
we roll back an hour. You get an hour of sleep.
Yeah.
So that part's obviously awesome. So this 1 hour, right, is awesome. What is terrible is the following months afterwards when you get off work and it's already dark. It's like
That's
the
true.
worst thing ever for me.
That's
Especially
true.
like
I hate that.
like you come home and I may do a little exercise or something after work, and then it's already dark and it's like there's my whole day. Now I'm gonna go sit inside for the rest of the night.
It feels a little depressing, but you know what helps get you through it? Well, ultimately, the Lord helps get you through it. But the other thing that helps get you through it, just as a very lighthearted thing, Thunder basketball.
That's true. That's true.
Thunder basketball helps.
It's like if you're gonna sit inside now, it's time to do it because you can watch some football, you can watch some basketball. But yeah,
Yes.
it's for me. It's like I need some sunlight going on after I get off work, or it's just a sad thing. So that's why this is my least favorite like daylight savings time just going
Gotcha.
forward. But yes, absolutely love the hour that we get. That's something you can't take for granted for sure.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and pick a couple of these other games and we'll roll to a break. Let's see here. Penn State at Ohio State. What are your thoughts?
Man, I don't know. Being an OU fan, I don't know where I should even root for this because it's like Penn State. I want you to lose. I want Shaquan Barkley to kind of have a bad game so Baker Mayfield can retake the top spot. But Ohio State, if they beat Penn State, it's kind of going to be this scenario of who does at the end of the year if a Big 12 team goes that has one loss and trying to make it in the playoff, are they going to take Ohio State over?
They'll always take Ohio State.
Yeah, and so it's a weird game. I think Ohio State's going to win this game. I'm picking Ohio State for this. I feel like they've really got together since the OU game, and even it's kind of seemed like the OU game was almost like, I don't want to say a fluke up to this point, but it was kind of OU playing their best football against a team that struggled mightily during one of the first games of the year, and Ohio State has been really impressive since then. Now Penn State obviously has done what they've done, and do they have one loss or are they undefeated?
Who?
Penn State's undefeated, right?
Penn State's undefeated.
Yeah. So, and they've looked really, really good. I just think this is a scenario where I like the Buckeyes. I think that they're typically young to start the season. I think that some of their teams have started to mature a little bit. J.K. Dobbins, big fan of the freshman running back. I think he's going to be fantastic for the college football scene going forward.
That's fair.
But yeah, I'm picking Ohio State. More of just I got this feeling, man. I think they're going to win.
Yeah, man, I was on the same side of that. and I was about to say, hey, I'm going to pick the opposite side. I just can't do it. I really feel like Ohio State's just going to beat them. Now, if you were to play this game 10 times in a year, do I think that Penn State would win it at least 4 or 5 times out of that? Yes. But this weekend, I don't. I just don't. I don't think it's going to happen. So we'll see what happens.
I guess that's kind of an upset pick, isn't it? As much as
it is. It's number 6 over number 2.
Yeah. Not too much of an upset pick.
But I think Ohio State's kind of a popular pick on this one too. But I just feel like they're going to wind up beating them. So we'll see what happens in that game. How about do we want to go and pick Big 12 or do we want to pick that after the break?
Let's go ahead. All
right, let's do that and then we can move on to some other sports.
We still got fantasy coming up. We still got
fantasy,
NFL, so
NBA. Yeah.
Let's go ahead and do Big 12.
Cool. TCU at Iowa State we'll do here in just a second. Texas at Baylor.
I'm actually going to take my upset pick right here for Big 12.
Darn it!
Are you going to?
I was considering it. I was just about to pull it up.
I think Baylor is going to get their first win of the season against Texas. And it's just one of those feelings things again.
We've been around each other too much now.
Yeah, I guess we have. But yeah, I'm taking Baylor. I think that they've played a couple of close games in the last few weeks. Obviously came up short at the end. They're still winless on the year. Everything that you would think should be saying pick Texas in this game. I like Texas' defense. I've spoken a few times that I'm not a big fan of Texas' offense. I don't think that they have a ton going for them other than the Sam Ehlinger run game. But I think the Bears come out and surprise the Longhorns this week. It's 11 a.m. game at Baylor. Prototypical trap game. Waking up early, going to another place. I'm taking the Bears in the upset pick.
Now I'm in a conundrum. So my conundrum right now is, do I take Texas, who I just don't like anyways, because they're the obvious favorite, or do I take Baylor, who I was considering taking, to win this game?
Hey, you just gotta go with your gut, man. That's what I've learned.
I just still gotta say Baylor. I'm on the same page with you.
That's
I
okay.
think that they go get it.
We will ride this ship, and then that way, when our listeners, when you watch this game this week, if Texas wins, you can comment in and say, 3rd and 1, guys.
You called
that
it.
That was either a terrible pick or wow, great upset pick.
It was a gutsy pick.
Yeah, we can go in together on this.
I really feel that way. All right, let's look at some of these other scores then. Kansas State at Kansas. I will take Kansas State on this team.
Yeah, I'm taking Kansas State as well.
All right, so we're on the same page on that one. Let's go to the least interesting one of the remaining 3. Texas Tech at Oklahoma.
Yeah, you're right. This is really the least interesting one. But there's a couple of interesting things about this game if you are a Sooner fan. Lincoln Riley is rolling in the red carpet for recruits. There are a ton of recruits coming in. We got a couple of 5 stars in the 2018 to 2019 class. A lot of current commits coming in and some potential commits from other schools. We got some A&M commits, USC commits, and who else am I thinking of here? A&M, USC, and Nebraska commits coming in. So it'll be interesting to see if Lincoln can get some more recruits this weekend. Now, with that, typically when OU has rolled out the red carpets for recruits, I'm thinking Ohio State last year. I'm thinking Baylor 2 years ago. They've been subpar performances by the team.
Yeah.
So is this a trap game? It could be. It's 7 at night. I think it's the first night game of the year for OU at or in Norman. So it's an interesting one, man. If OU's defense does not show up to this game, we're going to see a rematch of last year because Tech has an absolutely horrendous defense as well. And I don't like that scenario because I mean it really came down to who had the ball last in the game last year. Broke records for yardage, for scores in a college football game. Absolutely ridiculous. I think I do think that the defense comes out, and I'm not saying they're going to play a complete game. I think we will see them play a better game, a better full game than they have in the past. Now, Tech is going to score. Tech is going to score a lot of points. The offense, that's what they do. That's what Cliff Kingsbury does. If you can hold Tech to under 20 points, I think you're going to win this. And I think that's the goal. The goal is
they won't hold them to under 20 points.
Yeah,
I think they win, but they won't hold them to under 20 points.
Yes, I'm not sure if they will, but I think that is your goal going in, is to hold Tech to under 20 points. And I'm with you. I don't think it happens. I think
I would just have the goal of holding them under 25.
Yeah.
My personal.
Yeah, I think OU is going to score over 30 on Tech pretty easily.
I think they'll get into the 40s, possibly 38 to 41, somewhere in that range.
That's a great prediction. But man, at some point, OU's defense, Mike Stoops, you got to show some sign of life.
Do you think that they do the so have you been? Wow, we got to talk about this afterwards. We got to talk about this after the break. Let's pick TCU Iowa State real quick. What do you think? At Iowa State, by the way.
I really want to go for Iowa State here. I really, really do. I think TCU wins, though. I think Iowa State's kind of they're playing some great defense. I think you're not going to.
There's a rattling outside. You know what it is? That's the Cyclones knocking.
Oh, yeah, they're coming up. Matt Kemp, right? The walk-on senior quarterback's playing really well. Defense is awesome for Iowa State in the last couple games. Obviously OU beat Tech. But yeah, I'm still taking TCU. I think that they're playing really well. I had them as my sleeper for the Big 12. I'm sticking with that. I got to stick with it through the year.
I'm taking Iowa State.
Oh, upset pick. You heard
upset. Iowa State over TCU is happening this weekend. That's right. Predicted by yours truly. Iowa State. I'm going to Iowa State. They're showing something with their quarterback. I think that with everything that they're doing right now, their umbrella defense is really good, although TCU isn't as spread dependent. Their umbrella defense is really, really good. I think that Iowa State, I don't really think, but I'm going to take them anyways. My heart wants to go for it. Oklahoma State at West Virginia.
Man.
6-1, 5-2.
Yeah, this is another trap game. 11 a.m. at West Virginia. West Virginia's playing really well up to this point. I want to pick them, but I'm taking Oklahoma State. I think Oklahoma State had a rough week last week playing against Texas. Yeah. The offense seemed to struggle. I think that you're going to see Mike Gundy and his players come out firing on all cylinders. I think Mason Rudolph and James Washington are going to blow the top off of the Mountaineers defense. Yeah. I like the Mountaineers. They're probably like one of I kind of consider them as far as like how they play football in the same style that TCU does, where they're going to play solid defense, and they're also going to have a good, not great offense. So with that,
a dynamic offense.
Yeah,
but not great.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you on that. So who's your pick?
I'm taking Oklahoma State. There's some good matchups in the Big 12 this week. That's what we're talking about.
It's a hard one to pick. Man, there's just something about this game I just don't like. I'm going to go Oklahoma State, but there's something about this game I just don't like.
I mean, it could be that it's 11 a.m. at West Virginia.
It is. That's a lot of it. I just don't like this game. If it were at OSU, I'd feel a little bit better. I just don't like this game for OSU. I think this is going to be a really interesting game. But I'm still going to take OSU on this one.
Right. And Will Greer, their quarterback, West Virginia, is playing some really good ball. In fact, I know he has some NFL scouts looking at him recently, which he didn't necessarily have at Florida, and so he's kind of turned his NFL career around at West Virginia, and so that was a good decision by him to go there. So they're playing some good ball over there in Mountain Town. So
in Mountain Town. All right, that's super interesting. It really is. I mean, with whole Will Greer thing, I think that he's a pretty special talent, and he'll get a chance with an NFL team. So anytime you got that, and you got Mason Rudolph on the other side, who is projected to be in the first round, it's going to be a really interesting quarterback matchup. All right, and we already said Texas Tech, Oklahoma. We're both on the Oklahoma side. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. All right, that has been your NCAA college football predictions right here on 3rd and 1 live on your Friday morning drive.
Before we roll to a break, gonna give a quick shout out. Today's my dad's birthday. I know he's listening
very nice.
to that. So, Dad, happy birthday! Hope you have a fantastic day. Yeah. So,
and we may actually go a little bonus time today. Do you have some?
I have
some
time.
extra
Do you have the time?
I do have the time.
All right.
It is 8:06. Oh, you mean do I have extra time? Yes, I have extra time as well. That was a terrible dad joke. All right, we will be right back after these short messages from our sponsors.
Hey, newly engaged couples, are you tired of the same ho-hum, boring wedding reception every weekend? Don't you want yours to be the party everyone's talking about 3 months later? Then give us a call today at BTP Productions. We offer online planning forms, the best OKC DJs, lighting and sound packages, ceremony packages, and anytime consultations. We put you in total control of your party so you get your reception your way. Call us today at 405-609-9980. That's 405-609-9980. Or find us on Facebook. That's BTP Productions. The right music, the right DJ equals BTP Productions. Call today.
Crossover Radio is the best station I have ever listened to, even over other Christian stations. They are such a blessing. God uses this radio station that God started through the DJs and everyone on there to bless us and to show us Him.
Do you love coffee? Does your church, office, or business need coffee? What about getting amazing quality coffee at home from a business that serves our community and the world? Grounds for Compassion can meet your needs. The amazing staff at Grounds for Compassion would love to connect with you. There are 14 varieties, so you can't go wrong. Check out Grounds for Compassion on Facebook, Instagram, or at g4c.coffee, where you can place your order. Grounds for Compassion, coffee with conviction.
Crossover Radio. Radio with a purpose.
All right, welcome back to 3rd and 1 Live for your Friday morning drive. We've hit a couple different things this morning. We've gone over some MLB playoffs. We've gone over some NCAA football. We have hit a little bit on fantasy football, kind of some fantasy teams. We're going to talk a little bit more about fantasy coming up later. We're going to talk NFL football, but man, what a great day. Big 12 football coming up. We've talked, there's a lot of good games this week. If you are a Big 12 fan, these next couple weeks are going to be fantastic for you. I feel like we had a lot of games that we really wanted to take the upset on. I know Evan took the upset on Iowa State over TCU. West Virginia, Oklahoma State's looking like a good matchup. Even Tech, Oklahoma could easily come out and beat Oklahoma. So a lot of good matchups going on in the Big 12. So if you are a fan, watch the games this week. I know it's a good matchup. And obviously, game day is at Ohio State, Penn State, so that's going to be one to watch as far as you're looking at that college football playoff picture. It's really going to be one that shapes up what's going down in college football. Now, moving on. Let's get into some NFL talk. Specifically, we'll probably touch some fantasy, but
yeah,
we can talk some games coming up. Let's see. Let's look at the schedule here. We are in Week 8 of the NFL. Man, it seems like it is flying by. Last night, the Dolphins had an absolutely rough time.
So bad.
Rough time against the Ravens. I don't know why. In one of my leagues, I had the Dolphins defense. I don't know why I played them, but
okay. Well, but hold on. I will give you this. The Ravens' offense has been nothing to cheer for.
That's true. I think I just wasn't even really paying attention a ton to the matchup, and the Dolphins' defense has done pretty decently up to this point. But
I would have still thought that the Dolphins would have been worth the play. I mean, unless you had a better defense.
Yeah, that's true. I think I just looked at it. I didn't look too much into the matchup, and I just was like, it looks good. So,
Ravens went 7 in the first quarter, 13 in the second quarter, nothing in the third quarter, 20 in the fourth quarter.
2 pick sixes off Matt Moore
in the closing minutes.
Now you're knowing why they brought in Jay Cutler this offseason.
Yeah, the Bleacher Report was kind of brutal to Matt Moore on that whole deal last night. They sent an interesting message. In fact, I'll tell you here. Ravens clobbered Dolphins as Matt Moore shows backup caliber with 2 late pick sixes and an embarrassing 40-0 loss on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, so
a lot of the Thursday Night Football games have been bad this year.
They really have. And color rush though. That's what I love about Thursday Night Football is the color rush. We've talked about that.
It's about the only thing they got going for them.
That is. And I'm thinking maybe that's why they did that this year, because the matchups just aren't great. But now we're seeing, like, for all those questions in the offseason whenever the Dolphins brought in Jay Cutler, and like everyone's like, why are you going into a studio and grabbing a washed-up quarterback? Well, now you know why. Looking at Matt Moore, I mean,
that's true.
A bad performance. And so they had to go get someone. I'm wondering now if this opens up something for Colin Kaepernick. I don't think it will. I don't think they'll go out and sign 2 quarterbacks in Jay Cutler and Colin Kaepernick. And obviously we've talked some of those different scenarios that Kaepernick is facing as far as just NFL execs taking a chance on him. But yeah, man, Matt Moore, bad game for sure.
Yeah, no, it was. It was a terrible game. We'll see. We'll see what happens there in Miami. Unfortunately for Miami fans, there's been some hope in the last few years, and whenever Tannehill got hurt, I think the writing was on the wall, and then I think you're just seeing what that team is without Tannehill.
Yeah,
it's just not. It does not look pretty.
Kenny Stills looked pretty good last night for Miami. That's about the only thing going on. So if you're, you fans out there, Kenny Stills still doing his thing, still being the deep threat. So yeah, he looked good.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Let's. I'm just looking here at NFL scores right now, trying to see if there's any games that are interesting. I mean, listen to some of these games. Vikings at Browns.
That's the London game, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Early in the morning, London game.
And then Colts at Bengals. Bears at Saints. 49ers at Eagles. Chargers at Patriots. Falcons at Jets. I'm still looking for a good game. Here we go. Raiders, Buffalo Bills. That'll be pretty good.
Yeah, Raiders, Bills, Cowboys, Redskins. Should be all right.
Hey, here's a good one. Texans at Seahawks. That'll be a good game.
Yeah.
That'll be a good game.
Broncos, Chiefs could be good.
That'll be solid.
If Broncos can play well.
But this week is, like, bad. It's one good team versus one really bad team from most of those matchups.
Yeah, I'm interested in Chargers and Patriots because I feel like the Patriots, like, they've been winning, but they've kind of been struggling compared to how they usually are. So, I'm interested to see how that plays out.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. But they did show well against the Falcons. Yeah, I was last week talking about, Falcons still seem like the favorite. Not after last week. Man. The
Patriots did give it to him last week.
Yeah, the Patriots hit them pretty hard. All right, so free agents, sorry. So players and who we think will do well in fantasy. I say let's go ahead. Let's pick.
Do our Freaks of the Week.
Let's do our Freaks of the Week. So we're gonna actually hit Freaks of the Week, and we'll do our who's gonna get that yard after this segment. So let's go ahead and pick our Freaks of the Week.
All right, you want to? Oh, we can. There we
Gotcha.
Go.
I got you all queued up. We're good to go.
All right, I'll start us off here. Fantasy Freaks of the Week. Here we go. Ooh,
nice.
There it is. All right, starting off at the quarterback position, I am going to take Mr. Dak Prescott.
Ooh.
Playing against the New York Giants. I think this is going to be a big week for Dak. I think that the Giants team in general they are falling off the rail at this point. And the defense is not doing great as well. I think we're kind of seeing some of our last weeks with Zeke. I think teams are still going to load up that box, and I think that is going to open up some passing lanes for Mr. Dak. And also, he is a quarterback that gives you some rushing capabilities, which is always good for fantasy. So I'm taking Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I think that's that's a good pick. That's a solid pick. I got absolutely no problem with that. Let's see here. Man, there's just so many ones to pick from, honestly. Golly, who do I want to pick? Carson Wentz, 49ers. Terrible defense, terrible team, terrible offense, so they're going to get the ball a lot. I think Carson Wentz will have a good solid day. I don't think he'll be top. That's what's hard about this. But the numbers suggest that he will. I think the running game for the Eagles is what's going to actually do really well against that 49ers team. But I'm still going to go Carson Wentz. I'll go Carson Wentz. Boom. Sold.
Boom.
All right. Running back. Who is let's see here. If I got to pick a running back, since you picked your quarterback first, I'll go with the running back. At running back this week, I think that the Falcons will ride on Freeman's back this week.
Taking Devonta.
Yeah, I'm going to take Devonta Freeman.
Nice.
Against the New York Jets.
Against the Jets. I am going to take Jordan Howard.
Ooh.
Playing against the New Orleans Saints this week. I think the Saints defense is always, it's hit or miss with the Saints defense.
It is.
Jordan Howard's going to get the carries. It looks like he's kind of taken over a lot of those carries that were going to Tariq Cohen at the beginning of the year. They're going back to Jordan Howard. Tariq has just been in the passing game in the past couple weeks. I think with the volume that Howard is getting, and he still has some pass-catching capabilities, Tariq Cohen, when he's been coming in, a lot of the times has been in the slot, so he's still getting some passes out of the backfield. But I'm riding Jordan Howard this week in my fantasy freak of the week. I think he's going to freak out against the Saints. Like that matchup.
Nice.
Moving on to the wide receiver position.
What you got?
I am going to take... I'm going to do the same game, actually. Same game, opposite team.
Okay.
Michael Thomas.
Oh.
Against Chicago. Now, Chicago's defense is pretty solid. They're a team that's known for their defense, but Michael Thomas is basically hit or miss. He always does well, but it's going to be how much volume does he get from Drew Brees. Drew Brees is a guy that spreads it around. I think since that matchup is a little bit harder, I think you're going to see Drew Brees rely on his top receiver a little bit more, and so I think Michael Thomas is going to get some more volume this week than just Drew Brees typically doing, the spread around to whatever wide receiver is open. So I'm thinking, especially with the other receiver that's coming in, Coleman, he's kind of opening up some lanes for Michael Thomas, not getting the double teams that he was starting to get at the beginning of the year. So I'm thinking Michael Thomas is going to freak out this week against the Chicago Bears.
I'm going to take A.J. Green, Cincinnati, versus Indianapolis. Indianapolis is awful. Awful. And so I think that A.J. Green is going to wind up putting up some big numbers against the Colts this week. That's my pick.
Nice.
Tight ends. Man, this is an interesting one too. I'm gonna go with Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry for the Chargers to kind of throw a little love out there to my brother who is an Arkansas fan. Man, Hunter Henry, I think that he could do well. But if I'm really picking, we'll probably take Travis Kelce actually. So I'm gonna roll back on that one. Travis Kelce. I think Hunter Henry will do well, but I think the Patriots are showing some stuff.
Yeah, Hunter Henry is doing. He's doing really well this year. I think he's even ranked
he's
in
ranked
the top
number
10.
7.
Yeah.
But Travis Kelce, I'm going to give him the go against Denver.
Oh wait, is Hunter? Oh, we're on week 8. I thought it was week 9. I was like, Hunter Henry on a bye. That's next week. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a good pick. I like that. Hunter Henry's playing really well this year. I am going to take Evan Ingram. They're playing against the Rams, or they're playing. No, oh wait, they're on a bye this week. Never mind. For some reason, I'm thinking we're on week 9. Okay, so I gotta go.
We're on week 8.
We are on week. It's confusing
week
when
8.
you're thinking week 9 NCAA, week 8 NFL. I'm gonna take Mr. Jimmy Graham then. Jimmy Graham, kind of been hit or miss this year playing against Houston. But he plays for Seattle. I think that the tight end short pass game, when you get down in the red zone, it's going to be touchdown or bust for Jimmy Graham. I'm thinking he gets a touchdown, and I'm going to say 50 yards, 4 receptions this week. And I think he's going to freak out this week. So, Jimmy Graham owners, I like the matchup versus Houston. But yeah, I think he's going to be a touchdown week for Jimmy Graham.
All right, and then, if we're going to roll right into our flex. Now, remember, for all those who are listening, our rule for the flex is it cannot be a guy that is projected to be good, like really, consistent. It can't be like
I'm thinking someone
like Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, I'm thinking just someone that's not like the running back 1, wide receiver 1 option. And so, for example, right here, I'm going to take Aaron Jones out of Green Bay. I think he's getting some carries. Wait, are they on bye this week again? Okay, they're on bye this week. Man, everyone I like this week is just not playing. So I'll take Alvin Kamara. Let's see, who are they playing? Alvin Kamara, I just like. He is a guy that's coming up for the Saints. They're playing New England. No, they're not playing New England. Where am I going? We just talked about Chicago, right? Taking a lot of Saints games. Yeah, Alvin Kamara, I like the Saints offense. Obviously a great offense. And he's kind of coming up for the Saints ever since the AP trade. He's getting some more carries. And Mark Ingram, he's kind of typically been a running back that can get dinged up throughout the year. I just like his skill set in this offense. He's an every down back. He's a third down back and catch out of the backfield as patient runner. I think it's going to be a big week for him coming up, and I think you're going to start seeing some of those carries shift more towards Alvin Kamara's way instead of just a ton of volume from Mark Ingram. So I'm taking Kamara in my flex play this week.
Yeah, there's one that I really want to take here. I'm just trying to make sure that he's not the starting running back. Okay, good, he's not. I'm going to pick Wendell Smallwood.
Yeah, that's a great flex
for the
pick.
Eagles. I think that he's going to show up big.
He's coming off an injury, right? Kind of
he
becoming
played
healthy.
Last week. He didn't have a great week. He didn't have a terrible week. He was 8 rushes, 24 yards, something like that. And so it was, 3 yards a rush essentially, which isn't great, but it's not awful. And so it's just eh. But I think that this week he'll have a big showing against the terrible 49ers defense. So that's my pick for flex.
Yeah, that's a great pick, and that's a perfect example of what we're talking about with a flex pick. It's a guy that you're not going to start in your running back 1 position, but I mean you are looking to those guys for your flex play. So I think that's a good pick, especially in PPR leagues. He's going to get some passes out of the backfield. Yeah, very very good pick.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, we'll see what happens. It'll be an interesting development. See what happens with him and the Eagles, especially now that I have a rooting interest because he's on my team. We'll see what happens. But those are our fantasy freaks of the week. We will be right back after these short messages from our sponsors, and man, we're gonna be talking our who's gonna get that yard. We're gonna be talking some Thunder basketball. That's right, you get bonus time on 3rd and 1. This morning, we will be going till at least 8:45 and probably all the way till 9. So definitely want to stay tuned for all of that and more right after these messages.
City Life Community Church is the proud home of Crossover Radio. We are located at 6634 Northwest 36th Street, right here in the heart of Bethany. You can join us for worship at 11 a.m. each Sunday, and if you can't make it, you can hear us right here on Crossover Radio. You can also join us for worship and prayer each Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. City Life exists to glorify God by making disciples and doing good in Jesus' name. We are here for Bethany and for the Northwest Oklahoma City communities. We're excited about the opportunity to serve you and your family.
Would your business, organization, or ministry like to connect with our listeners? Crossover Radio is seeking amazing like-minded partnerships to impact our community. Crossover Radio has cheap and affordable sponsorship packages available now. Call us at 405-494-0234 so we can help connect you with thousands of listeners every week right here on Crossover Radio. Again, that number is 405-494-0234. Call us today.
Tired of taking up a seat in church or just watching a production? Join us Sunday at West Metro Community Church in Yukon, a place where your life matters and you are more than a number.
We are located at 601 West Main Street in Yukon, and our worship service is at 1045 on Sunday. For additional information on our student ministry, men's, women's, and mixed small group Bible studies throughout the week, find our information at www.westmetro.org.
Come be a part of a church where all are welcome.
Crossover Radio, radio with a purpose.
City Life Community Church is the proud home of Crossover Radio. We are located at 6634 Northwest 36th Street, right here in the heart of Bethany. You can join us for worship at 11 a.m. each Sunday, and if you can't make it, you can hear us right here on Crossover Radio. You can also join us for worship and prayer each Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. City Life exists to glorify God by making disciples and doing good in Jesus' name. We are here for Bethany and for the Northwest Oklahoma City communities. We're excited about the opportunity to serve you and your family.
Would your business, organization, or ministry like to connect with our listeners? Crossover Radio is seeking amazing like-minded partnerships to impact our community. Crossover Radio has cheap and affordable sponsorship packages available now. Call us at 405-494-0234 so we can help connect you with thousands of listeners every week right here on Crossover Radio. Again, that number is 405-494-0234. Call us today.
Tired of taking up a seat in church or just watching a production? Join us Sunday at West Metro Community Church in Yukon, a place where your life matters and you are more than a number.
We are located at 601 West Main Street in Yukon, and our worship service is at 1045 on Sunday. For additional information on our student ministry, men's, women's, and mixed small group Bible studies throughout the week, find our information at www.westmetro.org.
Come be a part of a church where all are welcome.
Crossover Radio, radio with a purpose.
City Life Community Church is the proud home of
All right, we are back here on 3rd&1 Live on your Friday morning drive. Thank you so much for hanging around past the break. We are back, and we are ready to deliver. We are ready to deliver who's going to get that yard. That's right. Who's going to be the one player out of any of the sports, any of the associations. We are going to discuss that right now. So who is going to get that yard for you, sir?
I think I'm going to take Baker Mayfield this week. I think he's just going to absolutely destroy Tech's defense.
Think so?
So I'm taking Baker. Haven't taken an OU player in a long time to go get that yard, but I'm going to do it this week. Actually, I don't think I've taken an OU player ever since we've started doing who's going to go get that yard, but I think Baker is going to absolutely light up this Texas Tech defense. Man, last week just thinking he did not practice all week and put up 400 yards against Kansas State's defense, basically just without throwing a football all week long is insane to me. And the year that he's having, a 200 QBR right now, which is currently the best ever in college football, which if he were to break the record, it would be breaking his own record for last year. So I just think Baker, I mean, it's against his former team, against Cliff. There's going to be some spite going out there for him. So I think he has a big week this week, and he goes and gets that yard.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick. I will actually take the guy who more often sits behind him, and that's going to be Trey Sermon.
Okay.
And I know that Abdul Adams is also going to be playing. It could be Abdul Adams as well. But I bet Trey Sermon runs all over them because you know what Tech doesn't do? play physical defense. You know what Trey Sermon does? Plays physical offense. That combination can be really nasty. I just think that Trey Sermon will wind up getting that yard. That would be my prediction. And they're going to need to ride him at times, especially toward the end of the game if they have a lead. They're going to want to just kill it. Just kill the clock. Go finish the game. And you know who's going to get the ball? It's going to be Trey Sermon.
Sounds like we're really liking OU this weekend in our who's going to go get that yard. And I think that's fair. I think
at least on offense.
Yeah,
I don't know what the defense is going to do.
That's true. It is a good matchup for the offense. So.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. All right, let's go ahead. Do a little bit of a shift here. Let's go ahead and shift into some NBA talk.
Yes, it's time.
The Thunder, for all of you who are listening right now, thank you so much for joining us. Whether you're on Facebook Live, whether you are listening via the app, thank you so much. Thank you so much for all of the listens, if you will. We thank you so much for tuning into our show and to every show that you do that is on our station. Man, if you are on Facebook, just drop us a comment. It's been actually very active this morning, and really appreciate all the comments, and keep them coming. We'd love to hear, and we'd love to definitely hear from all of our listeners. But here's the other part too. If you are on Facebook Live, we would really love it if you would share this with your friends and family. If you are on the app when you're not driving, we would love for you to share that app with your friends and family. You can do that. You can do that through your app stores, whether it's Google Play or the Apple App Store. You can actually share it with your friends and family. You could just share it by word of mouth. We'd appreciate that as well. Just let them know. Let them know what our station's about. Let them know that you love it, and let them know that they can engage with the host. We'd love for that. Love for that. Anytime we get to talk with our listeners, we absolutely love it. So definitely, send them our way. We'd love to definitely have them as a part of our show as well. All right. If we're going to talk about the Thunder, though,
Talking Thunder.
There's been some interesting things. The Pacers game, they did what they needed to do. They did what they should have done, and that was win that game. I'm not going to be like, oh, they won the game, yay. No, they should have won the game. With all the talent that they have, all the talent that the Pacers don't have. Mm-hmm. Although I do think
they're in rebuild mode right now.
They are. I will say, though, I think that the Pacers, they'll finish just outside of the Eastern playoffs.
Yeah, I can see that.
Now, if they were in the Western Conference, they would be bottom feeders.
Yes.
But I think them being in the East, I think that they're better than a lot of other teams. And I think by the end of the season, you'll see them being ahead of a lot of those bad teams. That's not necessarily a great thing to say, but, hey, it's better than being one of the worst teams. Which I think that the Bulls, I think that the Magic are going to come back down. They're winning right now, but I think the Magic are going to come back down. I just don't see that lasting. The Nets probably aren't going to do great. Although the Nets beat the Cavs. That was beautiful. Anyways, but I think that the Thunder, they did what they needed to do. George had a terrible game. A lot of that was because he had foul difficulties.
Yeah, fouled out.
That's right. And so there's something to be said for that as well. But he also just wasn't playing great. But when you're not able to get into a rhythm because you keep getting fouls, and you have to be pulled out of the game often. That's going to happen. You're probably not going to have a great game. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. I think that George is going to play inspired basketball tonight. I don't know if that means he's going to do well because he's unfortunately playing a team and a particular player in position in Jimmy Butler where he will be challenged and he will be defended well.
Yeah.
On the flip side of that, he will be defending Butler well. Now, if everyone notices, it wasn't Butler that everyone was talking about. It was Wiggins. And Wiggins only got there because Robertson had to sit out of the game. We talked about this on Monday. I don't want to get too much into that because that was on Monday's show, and you can definitely catch that. If you didn't catch Monday's show,
it's a rematch.
Roll it back.
It's a rematch of the.
It is.
So yeah. It all plays into context. I just was looking at the stats here, and I kind of want to go off on a little just interesting note.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Before we get it. So if I were to ask you who you thought was averaging the fourth most points on the team, so outside of the big three, outside of Carmelo, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, who do you think is the next player averaging the most points? Because this kind of threw me off.
Adams, right?
Oh, wait. I think it is Adams. Yeah, it is. Okay, so yes, it is Adams. It's
Fifth most?
Yeah.
Is it? Don't tell me it's Robertson.
No.
Okay, who is it?
It is Raymond Felton. 7.8 points per game.
Whoa.
That's
I did
above.
not see that
That's
coming.
above Jeremy Grant. That's above Alex Abrinas. Yeah.
And then who's at 6.8? Or
Six-
that was Jeremy Grant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeremy Grant, then Abrinas. You know who has been kind of disappointing so far, and I think he will get better, is Patrick Patterson. Only
he hasn't been played a lot either.
Yeah, and I mean he missed all the preseason, all the offseason, so that's understandable. But
I
I
got to play him more though, in my opinion.
I don't think we'll see him much this week or tonight. Actually,
You don't?
I don't
He's
think
very
so.
Flexible. That's what confuses me is that he should play against a team like this.
Yeah, I think I just don't know if Billy Donovan has the trust in him up to this point. I think we'll see him more throughout the year. I wish they would play him more. I think it's a great matchup.
I just roll him out there. Mm-hmm. This early in the season, you can take a couple of licks. It's okay. Roll him out there. Let him adjust. Let him get better, or more back into shape. Let's put it that way. Let him get back into shape. Just roll him out. I don't know. I think some of the hesitancy sometimes I see from Donovan, it's not as bad as it was with Scott Brooks. I will say that. Donovan will do some different things. I appreciate that. I'm good at that. But he's still more cautious than some other coaches. And I'm like, just roll it, man. Just put the lineup out there that you want to try, that everyone wants to see. He's finally playing. I mean, he's playing Huestis a lot. Huestis.
Yeah.
He's playing Huestis a lot, which is cool for me because I think that Huestis is a really good talent. He isn't quite playing up to it right now, but that's okay. It'll come along. Who's the highest 3-point percentage right now?
3-point percentage. Raymond Felton's at 55%.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's the highest.
And then, let's look at some of these numbers. Because I'm looking at this on your screen, and this is astonishing. Abrinas 30%, not good for Abrinas standards, but it's not terrible. Carmelo Anthony, 31.3%. Again, not good by Carmelo standards, but it's okay. Paul George, 30.2%. Not great, but it's okay. Jeremy Grant, 42.9%. Josh Huestis, 40%. You've got Russell Westbrook at 44%.
That's pretty good for Russ.
Yeah,
that's
it's
great
really
for
good
Russ.
for Russ.
Yeah.
That's really good for any player. If you're over 40% for threes, that is really good. You're one of the best in the league.
Now, Josh Huestis, the 40%, I'm sure he probably hasn't shot very many. I mean, he's averaging 1.5.
Are you going to Debbie Downer this?
I'm going to Debbie Downer just Josh Huestis.
Better. Oh my goodness.
Better, obviously better than last year now.
Yeah, it's all his. Okay, it doesn't matter how many he's shot. It's already better than what we had last year.
Yes.
Already.
I'm just thinking that the volume is probably not there for Huestis compared to.
My
I mean, Felton's shooting 55% right now. I mean, he's shot a lot of threes so far, and he's getting a lot of playing time. Which is I'm pleasantly surprised by Raymond Felton up to this point because I thought it was going to be I thought it was just kind of here's another guy that's a backup point guard that's probably going to not be that great of a backup point guard, and man, he's surprised me so far.
All right, here's some interesting numbers. Let me read some of these off to you. Turnovers right now they are averaging 17 a game. Not great.
Whew.
Not terrible, but not great. 11.3 steals a game. That's
great.
That's a good number.
Yeah.
Assist 23.3. Not great, not bad, about middle of the road. 41 rebounds a game. That's okay.
Yeah, you'd like to see that number get a little higher.
Man, in fact, now I got to pull it up and just kind of compare it to the rest of the league. Because now I just got to kind of see. Let's see here. 3-point percentage, 33.3%. You want to see better on that.
Yeah.
Field goal percentage, 45.3. Yeah, it's okay. Free throw percentage is awful at 67.5%. Man, just some of these numbers are just not great. if you look from game to game, you see some of those numbers fluctuate, and the numbers, they reflect something that I think is better at times, and then some things that are worse at times. It's just a really weird deal. Here's to me the interesting stats. Okay. Now we only have 4 games in. You can't overreact to these numbers, but check this out. In their 2 wins, they averaged 109.5 points. That makes sense. In their 2 losses, they averaged 100 points. That's normal. In their 2 wins, they averaged 45.8% on field goals. In their 2 losses, they averaged 44.8%. Okay? So about a full percentage point less on field goals. Here's where it gets interesting. 3-point percentage is worse in their wins, 32.3% compared to 34.4%. Their let's see here. What are some of the other numbers? Their rebounding is better in their wins. That makes sense. Their free throw percentage is better in their wins by about 8%, which makes sense. Their assists are better in their wins, which makes sense. Their steals are about the same, and their turnovers, though, are higher in their wins, 20 compared to 14.
Wow.
What do you think those numbers suggest? The fact that 3-point percentage is lower in their wins and turnovers are higher in their wins.
Must be rebounding, right? And defense.
Rebounding is the key there. Assists are a key. And you know what? You're going to have some turnovers right now with this team because they just haven't played well together. And if you're trying to move the ball, you're going to have some turnovers when you haven't played together well for very long. And their free throw numbers are better. Free throws, rebounds, and typically I say turnovers are what win you a game, but obviously that is not shown true in the 2 wins versus the 2 losses. Tonight will be a good marker for where this team is right now. I feel like the first few games, it's just kind of this flux. It's very much like wet cement. Mm-hmm. Nothing's set yet, and I think tonight you start to see what the team's made of.
Well, I don't think we've seen the Thunder play their best basketball, and I don't think we will for a little bit because man, it just seems like a lot of their shots aren't falling right now. Some wide open looks, man. But what Carmelo Anthony has brought to this team, he's already I feel like he's lived up to what we thought he was going to do when he came in.
True.
So just being the stretch 4, attacking the basket, playing some ISO with the second unit, man, I'm really loving Carmelo Anthony up to this point. But yeah, you're still seeing some issues with this team gelling together for a full game. There are stretches where you're like, man, that is awesome. They look really good. But the great thing is that Russ is getting so much more rest than he got last year. Billy Donovan is taking him out for extended periods of time while he plays another one of the big 3 there. And also we've talked about before, Steven Adams, man, things are just opening up for Steven Adams. He's having a fantastic start to the year.
And he's averaging 8.5. I want to see him average double-double. That, to me, would be a success for him. He's already having a good season, or a really good season. But I would love to see that happen because, in my personal opinion, he needs to get to that number. Because, there's no reason you shouldn't, right?
Yeah, who else is the big guy down there rebounding, right? Carmelo Anthony's being a stretch 4, so he should be eating those up. I'm with you.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. His minutes per game right now are averaging 35.3 for Russell Westbrook. Sorry, we were talking about that, and I just thought, I want to see what his average is right now, and it's not bad. That's a good number. I would love for his field goals to be above 50%. He'd be a 50-40 potential 50-40-90 guy if he can bring his free throw numbers back up. We'll see what happens with that. I think it's going to be a very interesting game tonight. I think it'll be a really good game tonight. It'll be worth your time, worth watching. You'll see some chippiness probably from the Thunder. I think they're going to play with a little bit of edge tonight. They're going to want to show that they are a real deal team. They want to show everyone, hey, we're not just going to beat up on bad teams. We're going to compete with the good teams.
I love the matchups between the Timberwolves and the Thunder.
It's great.
You got Teague, Westbrook, Butler, George,
Wiggins, Robertson,
Robertson,
offense versus defense.
Taj Gibson, Steven Adams. Yeah, I mean they even have Jamal Crawford.
Yeah.
On their second unit is a fantastic player. Who's there for?
They're did you already say Towns?
No, yes.
Karl Anthony Towns.
Karl Anthony Towns, yeah. Is he the 5?
Oh, no, he's the 5.
Yeah.
Gibson's the 4.
Okay, so then you have Taj Gibson, Carmelo Anthony, Steven Adams, Man, it's just a fantastic matchup.
It is. I mean, the starting lineups are star-studded. They really are. I mean, for these two teams, it is a really, really, really nice matchup. I think the interesting thing for me with Robertson and Wiggins, you have two guys who are one-way players, but they are one-way players on different sides of the ball.
Yeah.
And their strengths match their strengths, and their weaknesses match each other's weaknesses. Robertson is not very good on offense, especially with free throws, and Wiggins is terrible on defense. Wiggins is great on offense, and Robertson is great on defense. I just think that the comparison between those two players, this should be a match that Robertson plays a lot in.
Yeah, the thing about that, though, is like as far as matchups go, is with Andre being terrible at I think Andre is more terrible at offense than Wiggins is at defense.
If he could hit free throws, all his issues would be solved. And
yes.
I really mean this.
Yes.
Because now no longer are guys trying to just foul you whenever you're making a cut to the basket, which is what you do well, because you hit your free throws.
And is there another shooting guard in the league that when you're standing at the 3-point line,
I don't want to talk about
the defense will just go to Russ? Like, I don't know if there's another, or just let you shoot the ball. That's
I don't know. Yeah,
it's always tough to watch.
It's painful.
We do it all the time, but Dre, come on, brother.
Dre, we just need you to hit some free throws, man. Like that's all I'm asking for. That's all I'm asking for.
Next game that we lose and he plays poorly on offense, we should do an open letter to Dre.
Yeah, no, we definitely should. I keep hearing like loud noises, like a banging. I don't know what's going on. But no, I agree.
Ghost in the studio.
Ghost in the studio. Yes. No. I think let's do this. Let's do this for tonight's game, and we're actually getting close to rolling up and rolling out of here for today. But let's pick this game for tonight. I want to hear your final score predictions. Let me get this though. I will get the over under for tonight's game. Let's see, Thunder, Wolves, 10-27. I want to see what the here we go. Sweet.
I've already got my score. You ready for it?
Well, hold on.
I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm shooting my guns.
Oh my goodness. Pick. Oh well, it's not telling us what the over is.
We'll get there.
Odds.
But yeah, I first of all, I think we can talk. Who do you think is going to win?
Well, okay, that's fine.
Then you can do your score afterwards.
I think that the Thunder will win. That's my personal thought. I think the Thunder will come out. They'll come out inspired, and they will win tonight. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. And last game was very close. I think that the Thunder are just going through this learning curve right now as a team. And honestly, I mean, the Timberwolves should be doing this as well, but they're just a lot of experienced players that, man, if you're looking at this lineup, we talked about it, Teague, Wiggins, Butler, Karl Anthony Towns, Taj Gibson on the second unit, got Jamal Crawford. Man, it's a team that went out in the offseason, and they got the free agents they needed to get to go along with some of their young players. And they're a team that is looking very, very good in the Western Conference as far as just their lineup. Now,
yeah,
Cindy Whalen commented and said Thunder for the win. I 100% agree with you, Cindy. I think the Thunder come out and they get a little revenge from last game. I think they're going to have an edge to them, knowing that this is a team that already has beaten them. And I think you're going to see Paul George. I think Paul George is the key here. I think he has not been playing up to really his potential so far, especially in this matchup. So if Paul George, if he can get the best of Jimmy Butler, if he can attack the basket, not necessarily just go for the spot-up jump shots, continue to get to the rim, I think that will be the key. I don't know what the over-under is. I'm going to go ahead and say I'm taking a Thunder win, 106-102.
106-102. Well, I mean, it's not a terrible score prediction. Here are some of the numbers on it. The spread right now is around 2.5 to the Thunder, believe it or not.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, right. And then it's as far as the over/under, they predict it's 214.5. So that means if you take away the half, you got basically they think it's going to be 113-111. Yeah, 113-111. I still think that the Thunder are going to win by more than 2.5 points, so I take 3 or over, but only barely. I think it'll be around 5 or 6, or between 3 to 6. I'll put it that way. I think that the Thunder are going to have to battle to win this one, but I think that they will. So we'll see what happens. I think that they walk away with the win, and I think that as far as the amount of points being scored, did I say I said 113-111 would be their predicted score? Sorry, that's not right. It would be let's see here. Sorry, 1.
Is that not it right there?
09 versus 105. Nope, 108 versus 106. Yeah, there we go. 108 versus 106 would be. So this site predicts the score, but it's different from the over/under. So the odds makers predict it to be 108-106 in favor of the Thunder, and I think that it's going to go over that. I think that the Thunder win probably around 110 to. Actually, I'm just going to go 110-107. I will go that 110-107.
110-107. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I feel.
Alrighty. Well, there you have Talking Thunder.
Talking Thunder.
For the week.
The Thunderheads.
Yeah. There you go. But, hey, this has been fun getting on here. We talked college football. We talked NFL. We did our Fantasy Freaks of the Week. We talked some Thunder. It's been awesome. But, hey, I think we're ready to roll out, aren't you?
I think we're ready to roll out, man. Hey, it has been so much fun. Thank you guys so much for listening. We look forward to seeing more of your comments throughout the weekend. Feel free to send them to us. If you have not joined our Facebook page, 3rd&1, okay, it's just number 3, RD, ampersand sign, number 1, so 3rd&1. You need to go search it, join it. We are almost to 100 viewers. We need 17 more. Invite your friends, invite your family. We'd really, really love to get to 100 by Monday morning. That would be awesome. So if you will send it to your loved ones, we'd appreciate that very much. Have a great, wonderful, safe, awesome weekend. And man, Dustin, you ready to roll?
Yeah, man. I think it's gonna be a fun weekend. There's MLB playoff tonight, Thunder game tonight, some college football this weekend, some NFL. So you got a lot to look forward to, and it's gonna be a cold weekend here in Oklahoma and Texas areas. There's cold fronts coming in, so stay warm, bundle up, and watch some good sports. So.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. All right, we will be back on Monday. Thank you so much. This has been 3rd&1 live on your Friday morning drive.